Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 22 of The Force of Flow. In this episode, I will be discussing the differences between doing Agile and being Agile. I thought this would be a nice follow-up to the last episode where it was all about agility, transformation, dealing with changes, and Cotter and his approach to seeing a successful transformation in action. So this time, I'm talking about Agile in general. Most of the time, if you look at it in company settings, it is understood that, if we adopt certain processes, if we get a certain framework, if we adopt certain tools, then we can really check off certain boxes in this checklist of ours, and then we must be agile. Elements that get too little recognition or too little emphasis are the cultural aspects, and this is something I'm going to touch on today. I wanted to make sure that the differences are understood. Doing Agile looks and feels way different than being Agile. So doing is all about the implementing specific practices, tools, and processes. Being emphasizes a certain mindset and culture that values collaboration and continuous improvement, and also adaptability. If you want to apply it to some sort of a real world tangible example, you can think of it as a recipe, right? The doing part of it is all about focusing on the steps and the ingredients to follow. And the being agile is all about understanding the spirit of the flavors and the food that come together, and adapting to unexpected challenges and thinking outside the box and being creative. So living and breathing agile boils down to a set of values and principles. So the values, there are 4 of them, and I won't get into all 4, but my favorite is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So even there, you can see it's not about the processes, it's about the collaboration, the people behind the processes. As well, there are also 12 principles to live by. Here too, my favorite is number 10, where it states simplicity is essential. And I think in this complex world, trying to simplify as much as possible, no death by documentation or analysis paralysis, but if you can sum it up, bring the value to an individual faster, smarter, work smarter, not harder, then that is the gist of it, and that is part of being agile. One book that I have found a couple of months ago now is the Practical Agilist Guidebook by Brian Link. He is an enterprise agile coach who has helped drive large agile transformations in the States. And the way that he lays this out, this book in general, when I first dove into it, I felt a sigh of relief, almost that somebody was acknowledging all the struggles that I have been through on my journey to becoming agile, or understood the steps that companies had to go through but hadn't quite managed yet to be agile, but were rock stars at the processes and the tools behind all of that. But they always managed to underestimate the significance of one element, and that is the people within the organization, the culture that the company was cultivating. In this book, he lays out that there are 7 mindsets and cultures to be truly agile. And I'm going to go through them. Number 1, with regards to the mindsets, there are 2. One is an iterative mindset. So that means you take small steps, allowing for early and frequent feedback on each piece of work. Makes sense. If we're talking about an iterative approach, the opposite of waterfall. So where you first have value at the end of long processes and time. And here we take small chunks of work, we produce something of value and useful to a customer, and then get feedback about that little piece. The other mindset is a customer-centric mindset, which includes having the bigger picture and understanding what that is, which means knowing exactly what the product vision is and why it matters to our users. The cultures are quite interesting. So there are 5 of them. There's the product culture, which is all about having long-lasting product teams that reflect the company vision and the purpose. The second one is a learning culture where the team members share knowledge and they have communities of excellence or practice that grow people and skills. The third one is the experimentation culture where you use design thinking from the very beginning, so ideation to the delivery of the increment. The fourth one is continuous improvement culture where the teams are empowered to change and improve processes. They're transparent. They have courage to step up and say when something is or isn't the right way of doing things. There's respect and trust that leads to delivering value in the end. And the last one is a psychological safety culture. Now, this one I think can be repeated in any episode that has to do with Agile because without psychological safety, you don't have high performing teams. People won't be punished for speaking up. That's what that means. You won't be humiliated. That's what psychological safety means. People feel safe to take risks and express their ideas. Also, in the end, leads to innovation. It also means that the performance improves. And lastly, of course, what one wants without this successful transformation and now coming back to the teams, collaboration and communication. So again, psychological safety, there's a huge emphasis on that because it doesn't mean that this is just an element found in teams. It should be part of the culture, regardless of if it's at a team level or at the C level and anything in between. So what can you do as leaders and managers to be supportive of being agile or adopting a more being attitude? Let's go through some ideas. Be supportive of the process and also create an environment that enables teams' success. Provide that psychological safety. Let them be courageous and feel what it's like to be able to spitball and throw out ideas. Have conversations with scrum masters or product owners when certain questions arise in you about, for instance, the path of the team moving forward, or are the team solving the right problems, and also if they're delivering the right thing, and even if there are doubts about utilizing stakeholders in general. So the key takeaways that we have from this episode would be the following. Mindset over mechanics, right? True agility starts with a certain mindset shift and an openness to change. Be weary of agile theater. People, teams performing agile practices that won't produce lasting results over time. And last, culture drives transformation. Lasting agility and the nurturing of a certain culture of trust provides the psychological safety and empowerment. So I would really be interested to hear your experiences and thoughts about this topic. Are you truly agile in mindset, or are you just following steps? Please feel free to share any of your thoughts and ideas through LinkedIn or Instagram, or just comment at the bottom of this episode. In episode 23, we will be discussing resilience and character strengths, and those are topics found in positive psychology, which I mentioned I would also be touching on in the next episode. So looking forward to seeing and hearing from you back at that time. Wishing you guys a fantastic day. May the force of flow be with you. Bye-bye.